Today, we're going to talk about how loneliness shows up in entrepreneurship, what that means to build trust in a deeper level, and how a whole community can completely reshape your mindset and your success.
I wanted to go abroad, and at that point of time, the education system abroad was not as commercial as it is today, and therefore they needed experience, and that wasn't in my pocket at that point of time. The next best option was to go and join a job, which at that point of was paying almost nothing. So I thought to myself, what am I going to do? And Dad, who had started this business and was wanting to shut it down because it was not doing too well, I reached out to him and I said, listen, is it okay if I give it a shot? Can I look at reviving it and making it work? He obviously was more than happy. That's how I became an entrepreneur. Got to ask for opportunities. If opportunities come your way, you will figure a way to get it done. That really changed the way we function as an organization. So that's been my biggest learning. Trust your team, and your team will do a far better job than you think you can do it by yourself. Then don't compare yourself with others. Try and compare what you were yesterday and are you better today. I think that's the most important learning that I can share that I've had. The champion's mindset is to look at different perspectives. You need to be a good listener, right? So trust groups have taught me how to become a better listener and to try to take maximum value out of what the opposite person is experiencing.
Most entrepreneurs think success means doing it all alone. But what if there's a real secret? Was learning to share the weight and trust others on your journey. No man is an island. Every person who's made it successful has done it with people with us beside them or behind them. So everyone, welcome back to the Champion Mindset Collective podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Dyer. I'm so grateful that you're here listening or watching to this episode. Would love for you to share this episode with your friends, your family, and your workmates. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe so we can get this out to the wider world. When you subscribe, the algorithms put these episodes out, so please do subscribe. This podcast is sponsored by AR Workflows Agency, where we help you, business owners, get out of the repetitive tasks of working in your business to working on your business and working smarter, not harder. So if you'd like to have a conversation with me, click the link in the show notes and send me a message and we'll have a chat. Today's guest is Rashesh Doshi, Managing Director of Talent Corner HR Services. Rashesh has built one of India's leading HR consulting brands and is also part of the Stanford Seed Transformation Program. What he really stands out is his belief that leadership isn't meant to be a solo journey. He's a long-time member of Ascent Foundation, an organization that brings entrepreneurs together through something called trust groups, small curated circles where business leaders support each other through the toughest and honest, vulnerable conversations. Today, we're going to talk about how loneliness shows up in entrepreneurship. And let me tell you, I'm an entrepreneur and I know exactly what that's like. What that means to build trust in a deeper level, and how a whole community can completely reshape your mindset and your success. So let's welcome Rashesh to the Champion Mindset Collective podcast.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much for having me out here.
It's my pleasure, Rashesh. It's so great to have you here. I really enjoyed the conversation we had last week and how we came about this topic. And it really excited me because I'm on this journey of entrepreneurship and it's definitely lonely sometimes. But what I've managed to do is learn to partner with people, learn to have a community behind me. And, it's not so lonely after that because there's all these people that are like beside you and helping you. So Rashesh, before we go into some questions, I'd really love for you to share your journey in life from childhood. What got you into the whole recruitment space? What are some of the challenges and some of the highlights in your career?
Anthony, I keep telling this to people that I'm an accidental entrepreneur. It wasn't on my cards to become one. Soon after high school in India, I had the opportunity to go through various entrance examinations of B schools, and I did really badly at them. So that door was shut, and then I wanted to go abroad. And at that point of time, the education system abroad was not as commercial as it is today. Uh, and therefore, they needed experience, and that wasn't in my pocket at that point of time. The next best option was to go and join a job, which at that point of was paying almost nothing. So I thought to myself, what am I going to do? And dad, who had started this business and was wanting to shut it down because it was not doing too well, I reached out to him and I said, listen, is it okay if I give it a shot? Can I look at reviving it and making it work? He obviously was more than happy. And that's how I became an entrepreneur. It's been, of course, a journey of almost now 23 years.
Wow.
And with its highs and its lows, I think it's been a wonderful journey. Lots of learnings. I mean, I'm happy to share it in the podcast today, but lots of learnings. And it's been a wonderful experience. I think I couldn't have been anything more than an entrepreneur. I love it. And I still have a spring in my step every time I walk into my office.
Nice, nice. Look, I can only imagine what it would have been like for you over those last 20 years. I'm in my first year of entrepreneurship, and yeah, um, the fact that you've lasted 20 years, and you're still going, um, is a testament to your champion, having a champion mindset and so on, and also that like there's such a difference in between working in a job to actually doing something that's you're passionate about, that you feel is purposeful, right? So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. What
Pleasure.
tell us why entrepreneurs, many entrepreneurs say the journey feels lonely, and even when things are going really well for them, why does it feel so lonely?
You know, in my experience, and I'll only talk about my experience, I think when you become a leader of an organization, you start believing that everybody has a lot of expectations from you. And which is true, right? You have expectations from the family, you have expectations from your team members, uh, you have expectations from society at large. And those expectations somehow pile on to you, right? And they build up. And there isn't a school which teaches entrepreneurship, right? There's no school which tells you, okay, this is how you become an entrepreneur and this is what you could expect from it. So obviously you are going through the journey yourself. You start believing that you can become the superhuman that you think you can. And you want to have all the answers. Unfortunately, the answers are not there. You find it more and more difficult to ask others because you think you should be figuring it out yourself, and the loneliness grows. Uh, I I'm not telling you that this loneliness will go away. It won't, because there are some things that you need to figure out, yourself. But yes, I think there is a challenge where you will find yourself lonely at times, and a lot of which is actually built up in your head. And the true magic is actually when you reach out to others, and that's where your loneliness will reduce. But yes, I can tell you, Anthony, one thing is correct, that entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. And if you've got onto it, you'll have to go through at least parts of it by yourself, while there are times where you can figure out how to do it, and sail through this journey along with other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was Henry Ford that said, or someone said that if you believe you can't and if you believe you can, then both of them are true, right? Because your brain doesn't know between reality and fake. So whatever you feed it is going to manifest out, because what you attract is who you are being at the moment, right? And that's something that I've actually been going through lately by myself, right? But there's this saying, or there's this a quote that I really like that's on my website, and it says, "Everybody wants to reach the peak, but there is no growth on the top of the mountain. It's in the valley that you slog through the lush grass and the rich soil, learning and becoming what enables us to summit to life's next peak." So when you're in that loneliness, that's actually where your expansion and your growth is happening, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I just heard someone very, over the weekend say something which really hit me. And he said that the most successful entrepreneurs are the ones who are stupid, right? And it took the entire audience of 700 people by shock. And I said, "What is this guy saying?" And he's actually the founder of one of the largest luxury hotel companies now in India. And he said, "Only stupid believe people believe that some of the most vaguest ideas will come into reality, right? And that's when really the journey of an entrepreneur begins, right? When he believes in that idea in spite of a lot of people telling him that it won't work, and makes it happen. So I think a big takeaway for me has been that, sometimes you need to be stupid to believe in what you do, and that's where what makes the journey more enriching, if I may say so.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I was listening to something. I think it was on the Diary of the CEO, where this guy was saying how Steve Jobs went up to someone and said, "You can either do this, or you can come and work with me and change the world." Right? Change how people say. And at that time, phones and devices and stuff, they hadn't evolved. And so this person obviously trusted Steve Jobs, and also, so yeah, he might have sounded stupid, and most people would have gone, "What you talking about?" But this one person went, "Hang on, I can see, I can see that there's something here," and he trusted Steve to follow him. Now, tell us, tell us something. Can you tell us about when you felt lonely yourself, and when things were going, like, what did it teach you about leadership for you?
So, obviously, Anthony, there have been multiple times where I felt lonely, but the more recent one I can tell you is when I got into the Stanford, transformation program, the Stanford Seed Transformation Program. And this was a journey that we were going in as a company for the first time. Uh, we had applied to Stanford Seed earlier and we got rejected. And this time we got selected. So obviously the team was ecstatic, and the expectations from me were very high that I would go into the first immersion week, which was in Chennai, and there would be some really mind-boggling things that I would come back with. So it was a 6 days immersion week, and let me be honest to you, the first when I went for the immersion week and I took the flight, I knew I was a little underprepared, and I was underprepared because I had lost the habit of learning or reading a lot of things, right? So I do read a lot of books, but there was a lot of things to read before the immersion week one and being prepared. So I felt that I was underprepared. Um, I also felt that this is a lot of responsibility. So the underpreparedness plus the whole weight of what this is going to do for the organization really put me down. Then I went for the week, and obviously it was the first few days, and everybody was ecstatic. All the other entrepreneurs were also probably as capable, and they are as capable as I am to get into this. So the first 3 or 4 days were really challenging, right? I mean, I was trying to grapple along with a lot of things, trying to understand the concepts, and you sometimes get into a phase where you believe that am I getting this right? Am I missing out on something that the professors are telling me? And that obviously was that fear of missing out, because you're spending so much money and time and effort of going there. You tend to believe that, okay, am I missing on something? You want to take the most out of it. By the fourth day, I was down. I had nausea. I had a bad acidity bout, and not because of anything else, but because of the real pressure that was being built
Mm,
up on me. Um, I really wanted to lock myself in the room and not go down for dinner. But I said, that's not happening. I need to go down, talk to my peers. I obviously spoke to them that I was not keeping all right, and they were all a little worried. But I knew what the problem was. The problem was more in my head, right? And I'd built up this entire expectation on myself. The next day, I went and spoke to my business transformation advisor. And she mentioned something really beautiful. She said, Rashesh, you need to use the IKEA effect. I said, what is the IKEA effect? And she said, the IKEA effect is when you build something together, the the attachment to it becomes stronger, right?
Mm,
And you find more meaning to what you build together, and you need to ensure that your team is with you on this one. Obviously, I was a lot more relaxed, and she helped me to prepare for what's going to come up when we go back to our cities. um, and I did a very quick action as compared to everybody else. I came on a Saturday evening. On Monday, I sat along with my entire team and told them, this is the transformation journey that we are going to go through. How many of you are in it with me, right? I had the first 6 7 people say yes in the next 10 seconds, right? I already felt lighter. We had a lot of work to finish off, after the immersion week one, because Stanford is an organization which pushes you to get the most out of you. And everybody took responsibility. I felt a whole more lighter, right? I started believing that we could do a great job. And I can tell you, Anthony, what my team came up with in the work that we did after immersion week one was just amazing. They did it better than I could do, right? And then the
mm,
discussions were great. Everybody got involved, and we went through this entire journey together as an organization. We grew a team from the transformation team grew from 6 7 people to 14 people by the time we ended the program. So
yeah.
it doubled its size. Everybody got more excited about it. Even the T plan, right, the transformation plan that we submitted to Stanford recently, this is something that the entrepreneur usually very fearful in building, right? And I've got one of the largest tea plans made in the entire cohort, and this is all built by my team. This is what they believe
Mm,
in that we should do, and they built
mm-hmm,
it themselves. So
mm,
the biggest learning out here has been that uh, you will feel lonely. That the best people that you need to do is go and reach out to your team and tell them, listen, let's do it together, and the journey will become great, and the output will be much much better than what you could have
mm.
done just by yourself. So that's been my biggest learning. Trust your team, and your team will do a far better job than you think you can do it by yourself.
Absolutely. When there's so much power in collaboration and partnering with people and working together to solve a problem or to create some amazing change. Um, you know, we have our own perspectives, but when we bring everyone's perspectives together, that's when the magic happens, right? So it's so important to um, to empower your team. Let them be the ones that come up with the ideas, and you become the guide, and you guide them, right? So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit about discovering the trust groups. You mentioned that you stumbled upon an idea of the trust groups by chance. What drew you in first, and what did you expect it to be, and how did that reality surprise you?
So, the idea of a trust group was brought to India by a group called the Ascent Foundation. There is an industrialist in India called Mr. Harsh Mariwala. He leads a very large group of companies called the Marico Industries. And he was looking for ways in which he could give back. And he thought that why not create a foundation for entrepreneurs, which could make the journey of an entrepreneur more enriching. And he brought this concept of a trust group to India. For me, I just stumbled upon an idea because they're advertised in the Economic Times of India, and I saw the advertisement. the I applied and I didn't receive a call for the next 6 months. Then I received a call. I went through the initial screening process, and I was selected. And I joined the trust group. Now, at that point of time, Anthony, this is a very new concept, and that was a new concept at that point of time in India. I don't even think there are too many organizations doing it in India even today.
Mm.
Um, I thought it was just another organization which would allow entrepreneurs to network. You go into it, something like a BNI, and I was a
Mhm.
part of BNI at that point of time. So I just thought it was just one more addition to a BNI, right?
Mm.
Where I would meet entrepreneurs, exchange cards, win business, discuss a few ideas, listen to a few speakers, and that would be my journey. And when I got into the trust group concept, it was really very different, right? There were real conversations. It was about sharing your vulnerabilities. It was
Mm.
about trusting people. It was about doubts. Your It's about sharing the lowest moments and the highest moments in your journey as an entrepreneur, and it just made the whole experience very different than what I was expecting,
Mm.
such that it made me last year for 12 years after that.
Wow.
And it's been my 12th year. I was just at the Ascent Conclave last weekend, and I was telling people that this 12-year journey is what has made it really, really different and beautiful. But yes, as compared to what I got into it with and what I walked out with, or what I'm still with in it with, it's been very different. It's a forum where you actually can be really open to fellow
Mm.
entrepreneurs.
Mm. It's amazing because like you are all in the same mindset, the same space. You know, like networking group. You got people from different businesses, and whereas but like something like this would be like a collective of people that are on the same journey together, right? And you,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not even sure if there's one here in New Zealand. I'd love to explore or start one myself. I was just thinking, why don't I start one next year, where I start a group for entrepreneurs to actually get together. Um, it could be online first, but then at some point in person. But yeah, it's important to have these trust groups so that people feel supported. People can share their vulnerability and have that empathy and support from other entrepreneurs who have gone before you. And we're all at different levels, right? Um, Not that levels are good or bad, but it's just like we're all at different points of our journey. And someone who's gone before you can kind of like hold your hand and say, "Come on, you can do this." And because I can imagine the number of and I heard this the other day. The number I was listening to the Diary of a CEO with Daniel Priestley, this person Lady Cody, and Alex Hormozy, and they were talking about that entrepreneur journey, and it was an amazing episode because I got so much out of that. So yeah, I would love to do something like that here. Um, was there a specific moment when you realized that this group was going to change how you led and grew in your own business?
Let me tell you a little bit about when things started really changing for me. Right, like any trust group or like any group which comes together, people are not going to open up on day one. That's a
Mm.
wrong expectation. As a trust group, we took approximately a couple of years to actually start moving into a direction where we could talk openly and trust each other. And trust can't be earned overnight. It comes with time.
Mm.
Now, every year we have something called the offsite, where we move away from the city and we do some presentations which get the people more aligned with what you are trying to do, your trust group. And I went into the offsite, made a presentation on my finances, and showed a 30% growth, that I would achieve in the next year. Obviously, the trust group was not going to buy that, and I didn't expect that to happen. They just did not buy into it. And for the next 90 minutes, they grilled me. And they said that unless and until you're going to grow three times of what you are stating, we're not going to have you a part of the trust group in the next year. And that obviously shook me up, right? Because someone's expecting me to go three times in a certain function, uh, which they
3x,
believed.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm,
I was a little shaken. Obviously, I wanted to get very defensive about it. Uh, but I said, let me absorb this, right? Let me absorb this. Let me still listen to what they were saying. By the time I finished the presentation, I knew what they were saying was right, right? And I needed to push myself. It was right for the organization, it was right for me. And I finished my presentation. I wasn't able to focus in the next two because I was just too scared of what they had said. It just created a brain fog in my head, and I kept on thinking about it. But I went back home and I said, I need to give it a shot, right?
mm,
And I divided the goal that they had set into 12 months, and we hit the first month goal, right? So we hit the first month goal in terms of what they said. And I went back absolutely joyous and proud to them, saying, listen, I've hit it, right? And they said, if you could do it for for 1 month, you can do it for 12. After 12 months, I was just shy of what they had set for me, and shy by less than a 5% margin, right? And that made me believe that this is big. And they believed in me, right? That I could do it. Imagine having grown three times in that function. And that was a game changing function that would change the way my organization would function forever. Um, the journey continued. And I can tell you, Anthony, today, every year in that particular function, we grow 1.5 times the goal that they had set.
mm,
So a year on
mm.
year, we are going 1.5 times. And that's the
Wow.
kind of scale it is bringing in. So imagine, had it not been for that challenge, right?
Mm,
Had it not been for them shaking me up at that point of time, uh, the organization Talent Corner would not have become what it is today, which is almost 20 times its revenue of that year in the last 12 years. So 10 years we've grown
wow.
20 times. That's amazing. That was thanks to that particular offsite.
Wow. That's amazing. And obviously they saw they saw the potential in you, right? And they knew that there was more to you. And often we limit ourselves, right? And but when you have someone behind you going, you can do this, no problem. It's like going to a gym when you go, oh, I can't do any more. And often you've got more in you to give, right? And so you took that feedback. You could have easily just turned around and gone, no, 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 I can't do this, right? But you went, hang on, these people believe in me. I'm going to give this a shot. And you gave it a go, and then you did it in the first month, and then you go, well, if I can. It's like my partner said to me the other week. She said, "You've done it once before. You can do it again." I'm like, "Thank you. Yes, I can." You know, yeah, because entrepreneur journey is peaks and
Is
troughs,
up and
and
down, yeah. And you
and
need
also
someone to hold
sideways.
you. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you need someone to hold you accountable, because you don't have anybody to to reply to. If you fail, you don't have anybody to reply to. If you succeed, you obviously can blow your own trumpet. Uh, but there's no one holding you accountable. And I think my group held me accountable. And I'm very thankful to them. I'm still with the group, and they're very close friends. They still push me. Uh, and I think that particular moment, which is at the end of the second year of the trust group journey, is when it helped me. So obviously the last 10 years have been even more powerful after that.
yeah. Like I was talking to my partners. So, first of all, my partner, she's really supportive, and she's kind of my accountability. I go home, she's like, "Okay, what did you do today?" And I've got to say, "Yeah, I did this, good." Or if I'm feeling down about something, she'll go, "You can do this," and she just puts it straight to me. But I was in a meeting a few hours ago with two of my partners that I work with in my business, and I said to them, I said, "Look, I'm doing this through the bank. I'm doing this. this workshop for 4 weeks. It's called Disrupt, and it's part of the Business Growth Academy. And I said, um, you know, I want you guys to, I'm going to invite you to this program as guests, and I want you to give me feedback on how I'm performing as a business owner. And I want you to be completely truthful so that I've got feedback that I can learn from and better myself. And they're like, oh, you want us to do some work for you? I said, no, we grow together, you know. But it was such a inspiring moment where, you know, business owners, you come together, you support each other, you throw ideas out there, and you make decisions together. Like, they may not be employees of mine, but they are co-partners, right? And so there is so much power in actually helping people, giving you advice. And a few months ago, I had a gentleman who has been following me for 3 years on LinkedIn and said to me, I finally decided to get in touch with you because I want to help you and I want to back you and so on. And he says, but I will be 100% brutal with you, honest. I'm like, be completely brutal. I don't want any, you know, I just want you to be straight up with me and give me feedback on what I what is it that I've got to do to, you know, because he's a CEO of a company and a board member and so on. I can learn from people like that. So, yeah. Now, let's talk about the anatomy of a trust group. For people hearing about this for the first time, and I mean, I've really haven't heard of a trust group before. What exactly is a trust group and how does it work? What makes it different from any other typical networking or mastermind group?
So, the trust group basically, firstly, it's anything between 9 to 11 members that you should ideally have in your trust group.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole intention is to keep it as diversified as possible. So, you want people from different industries, you want people from manufacturing, services, trading, different kind of mindsets. You want people from you want a male and a female so that you can get different perspectives in the room. You want to make sure that as much diversity is possible, old and young. You want to bring a good mix together. Now, I can tell you one thing, Anthony, that I'm a part of two trust groups, one which meets physically and other one which meets online. In my experience, the one which meets physically is the one which actually creates the highest value. So I'm not a very big believer. And having gone through the journey for 5 years with an online group, I know there is a difference in the value that is being created. So you want people who are committing to meet every month physically, because you know then that they are not distracted with anything else. Meeting every month is a compulsion. So we spend 4 hours in a boardroom, and that's the 4 hours we talk to each other on various aspects, and it's a very structured meeting, right? Those 4 hours we put away our mobile phones, and we are very disciplined of being with each other. It's a time bound meeting, and everything that we do in the meeting is structured and time bound. Now, Ascent, which is the organization that runs these trust groups in India, they have a particular format in which they ask us to talk. Want us to talk about the highs that we have gone through in the last 1 month. So the professional high, the personal high, and the family high that we've gone through. They want us to talk about the lows, and the real magic really starts with the lows, because that's where you have the real conversations. That's where you understand what all of you are going through together and what topic to pick up upon in the next conversation. The they also have discoveries, because we as entrepreneurs need to always discover things and share with each other so that everybody gets to know about it. So that's the three recommended structures that Ascent gives you. Now, each trust group, of course, comes up with their own bit that they want to innovate, and mine talks about they have a couple of reflective questions where we go back into our journey and gets us to reflect as an entrepreneur. For example, where do you see yourself 5 years from today? Okay, or what would really make you happy if you were to do something else, 3 years from today. So it could be a reflective question, gets you to think more internally. And the end of the day, the idea is to make the conversation more powerful in that room. Now,
Mm.
typically, what would happen is after everybody has spoken about the lows, there would be one particular thing that is troubling most of you, right? And you then create a presentation around it. You go into the topic more deeper, and you share experiences. And sometimes you can even bring someone called a knowledge guru, an external consultant, to come and address that particular challenge and share their experience. What makes this really powerful, Anthony, is that there is no consulting, which means you can't give gyan. You can't tell people, I think you should do this. That's not allowed in a trust group, right? The format in which you support the other person is saying, listen, I think I have gone through the same experience, and this is how I solved it, right?
Mm.
Experience sharing is allowed, consulting is not allowed, right? So that's the one thing which is beautiful at Ascent. Second thing, it's a no judgment space, right? Which means if you're saying something, it's it's upon me to ensure that I'm not judging you by what you're saying. You have to feel safe by sharing what you have to share with absolute, if I may say, nakedness, and tell me what you're exactly feeling, right? And the third thing, very important, is what gets spoken in that room stays in the room, right? It can't leave the
Mm.
room, not even to our spouse, because that's the commitment we have towards each other, right? So that's how the meeting format functions. And of course, there are a lot of other things which happen around that, but this is how the meeting format functions. And yes, one very important thing is we are all bound by a constitution, which means the constitution has exactly everything written that the group wants to achieve, the rules that are revolving around it to ensure that the group is being disciplined towards it, and ensuring that they create value for each other. Even we even have fines for coming 5 minutes late for a meeting, right? So that's the way it functions. And you can, I live in Mumbai, so you can get really stuck in traffic, but you have a really hefty penalty for not showing up. I can tell you that a penalty at my group for not showing up is $100, irrespective of
Wow.
whatever it is, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So it's $100. That's a steep penalty. Even if you are late by a minute, you're paying $10,
Send
right? So
Yeah.
that's the amount of money that you're paying. And when I'm saying dollars, I'm talking about the US dollar. So it's a little bit on the steeper side not to show up, but that's the commitment that you have, right? Everybody shows
Yeah.
up. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the value for the opposite person's time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because if it means, if the group means something to you and the people mean something to you, you're going to show up. You're going to, you know, because it's, it's a journey you're going on together. And I love that, there's confidentiality, there's structure to it, that you're not allowed to sell and do consulting. But yeah, you're actually telling your story and saying, hey, I went through this and this is how and you're giving clues, right? And you're giving clues. And so, sharing your story and experiences is the best way to educate people. And it also, there's that vulnerability in those meetings as well. So you've talked about, let's talk a little bit about the impact on the mindset and the business, right? So you've talked about how the trust group has influenced some major decisions. Can you share one example that had a big impact on you and also on your business, Talent Corner?
There's one incident that, Anthony, I remember very clearly. Now, as an organization, sometimes you get into the phase where you think conservatively, right? You want to
Mm.
hold on to everything that you've got versus giving it its full push. And we as an organization always had excuses. Let me be honest to you. Whenever we wanted to hire more people into our business development, we would question whether the person will perform, what kind of talent we'll have, whether we will be able to deliver, whether it will be worthy of the journey. And so we would only hire two or three people in our business development team. And we thought that would work, right? Obviously, it was not working as much, and we did get growth, but we did not get the kind of growth that the company had. Now, one fine day, we came up with this idea that we want to expand our business development team and double, and must not forget doubling. We were going to increase our business development team by 3 times and hire a few more interns, which would make our business development team at almost 10 times the size of what it is today at that point of time. Obviously, you're a little scared because you have all the excuses to believe that this is not the right way to look at it. So I went back to the group and I said, "Listen, I need an hour and a half of yours, 90 minutes, for you to ask me questions and help me make this decision." We did a lot of discussions around it, and what we narrowed down was to look at the best case scenario and the worst case scenario if this was to happen. Now, first we did the worst case scenario, right? So we said, okay, if things really don't work out to the way that we want it to happen, what would be the worst it would happen, and how will the organization recover from it? We did that, and we realized that if things really go south, it would take the organization anything between 6 to 8 months to recover from what was would to happen at that point of time. And then we looked at the best case scenario. We said, wow, this has got a lot of potential to it. And if we have to take this risk, we it's worthy of the best case scenarios to happen. I went ahead and took the decision of taking it up as a project. And let me tell you, we did better than the best case scenario, right? It just changed the way we saw business, right? We saw sales, we saw the importance of business development. Today, Anthony, at any point of time, we have nothing less than 20 people in our business development team. We are
Mm,
hungry for business. We chase business because we only know that you got to ask for opportunities. If opportunities come your way, you will figure a way to get it done, right?
yeah.
And that really changed the way we function as an organization. We had many other cases like this, and out of the 4 or 5 cases where I looked at the worst case scenario and the best case scenario along with the group, there's only one which did not work out, in terms of the best case scenario. Uh, but even if that did not work out, we got something more meaningful from that experience, after we did that. So I think had it not been for the trust group to work along with me, it would have not happened. And also what happens is when you're going through the journey, right? When you've taken those decisions, somewhere emotionally, you know that there's a group of people who's going to back you up, right? Who's
Mm,
going to come back and tell you it's okay if you failed, but we are proud that you gave it a shot, right?
yeah.
That got me giving shots to multiple things that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like you can easily just have that fear and go, "Oh, I'm not going to take that step." But the thing is, you know, if you stay in your comfort zone, your dream's going to die there, right? And it's to step out of that comfort zone into the fear zone and then into the growth zone. And once you do that a couple of times, then it becomes it becomes part of you. And I also see fear as a friend because it's guiding you, it's giving you feedback. And but what you were saying that you had those use cases, but that you knew what problem you were solving, and when everyone knows exactly what problem they're solving, then that's when you know you c- you have that backing with everyone behind you as well. But yeah, think that that is awesome what you guys did. What kind of shift did that experience create for you mentally, like from your mindset perspective?
I think we became more risk taking, right? We were
Risk
aware
averse,
that
yeah.
the yeah, I mean we were aware that as an organization there is merit in taking risks,
Mm,
and somehow everything falls into place, right? And I'm not going to tell you that you take uh, undue risk. It has to be a planned risk. You need to be aware about every single thing that could go wrong and work towards it.
Calculated. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to look at it. We need to make sure that we are monitoring that risk and making sure that it doesn't go out of hand. Like I mentioned, it only got out of hand once, right? And I think we took a bigger risk. We really bit into something which was more than what we could chew. Um, but having said that, the mindset became that we have great intention, we want to grow, and as long as we are able to take the right risks, it will really really help our organization become stronger together. So big
Mm,
mindset shift after that, and the risk taking ability only kept on growing after that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You got to take risks, and you got to monitor it. You got to take calculated risks that are going, um, you can't just willy nilly just take risks without actually, got to have a, well, it's not like a plan B, but it's like you've got to know where you're going, right? Um,
True.
yeah, and have the GPS that can take you somewhere else if you need to. Yeah.
True.
Now, lessons for listeners, for entrepreneurs who's listening right now, who might be feeling like that same the isolation. Where can they start?
So the easiest way to do this is, to find an organization which has a similar trust group concept. Ascent is more focused right now in India, and I think understandably so because there's a lot to do in India. I hope that they get into the international domain. And I think if they have people who could run it from there, I don't think they would be close to the idea.
I'd be
However,
open to it.
yeah,
I'll be.
absolutely, absolutely.
You connect me, and we'll make it happen.
Absolutely, I'll be happy to connect you to the foundation team, and maybe they can collaborate with you and see what can be done. However, I have heard about other organizations who have done it and who are doing it. I think there's an entrepreneurs organization which has a similar concept. There is YPO, which is a Young President organization, which again has a similar concept. There's one organization in the US called Tiger 51. I don't know much about them because I've not read up much, but I think again they have a very similar concept of a trust group. So these are organizations which people could sign up for. And if not, I think why not just reach out to an entrepreneurial network in your own city, in your own country, and try to to collaborate with them. If there is enough validity that there's merit in the concept and that they can grow, there's no harm in bringing it together. Again, the idea is to find the right people, to ensure that you have people who are willing to share, willing to be vulnerable, not looking at showing off. um, Again, you want people from a similar orbit, not too high, not too low, so that they understand the challenges that you're going through and can guide you with the right relevant experiences. But yes, I mean this can be done with a formal structure like Ascent, or maybe without a formal structure if you want to take it up yourself. But accountability
Mm,
to each other is really important.
yeah, yeah. And what should they look for when they're joining such a or joining or building a trust group? What should they be looking for?
First is the commitment. We want people who are committed to
Mm,
the group. Second is people who are willing to share, who are willing to be vulnerable. Third is people who are non transactional, which means you don't want to be doing business on the table at all. Any transactions will really, really dilute the essence of the organization. You want to make sure people are not looking for quick fixes, right? So,
mm,
quick fix is not what Ascent is for. Ascent is for deeper conversations. Ascent is for people who want to try. Ascent is for people who have the growth mindset, right? The trust group, in fact, and I'd say not Ascent, say trust group is for people who have the growth mindset. So, there are people who don't want to grow and who are really satisfied. I'm not being judgmental on them. I believe that maybe they have their reasons to be the way they are. Uh, but you need to have the growth mindset in the room, because if they're not willing to grow, you will not grow, right? I wouldn't have friends in the room. So the minute you have friends in the room, they are probably sugarcoating their feedback to you. So you want to have all nine strangers to be in that room, so that There is and everybody's giving honest feedback. You want to make sure people are valuing each other's time, each other's effort. They're valuing the other person's opinion. So it takes some time in terms of building a trust group. That is why, even a foundation like Ascent, although it has lots of memberships that come in, they take those to 3 to 6 months to align people together, right, and ensure that the trust group is rightly built. So, if anybody who's doing it on themselves or by themselves, they should do it. And if they need my assistance in doing it because they don't have a structured format, I'll be really, really happy to share every single thing that I've learned from the way this operates, and hopefully they can tick it off by themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great advice. Thank you so much. Um, Now, you talk about the champion mindset. You talk about growth mindset. You often talk about having that growth mindset or the champion mindset. How has that being part of a trust group changed what that means for you?
I think the champions mindset is in the trust group format is come into play because it's always got me to think about how I can become a better version of myself tomorrow, right?
Mm,
And I believe, and it's often said that you're a sum total of the people that you are with all the time, right?
yeah,
And I believe this group has challenged me, held me accountable, not only at the professional level but at the personal level as well. I want to share with the group today that for the last 6 months and for the next six, we're all working on making ourselves mentally fit, right?
mm,
We did physically fit, but now we're doing mentally fit. We're looking at mental wellness
mental fitness.
and
Yeah,
and giving, yeah, and we're looking at it in a very deep manner because you can't only be talking about business all the time.
no,
So while we do that, a certain part of our meeting is discussed around the mental fitness bit. Uh, so you need those people to hold you accountable. So yes, I think the champion's mindset is to look at different perspectives. You need to be a good listener, right? So trust groups have taught me how to become a better listener, and to try to take maximum value out of what the opposite person is experiencing.
yeah,
It's also I think the champion's mindset also happens value when you value asking people, right? We're too shy. I think we're too shy of asking people for help. The worst that could happen is that person will say, sorry, I'm not in a position to help you because I don't have the experience or the skill set to guide you on this one. But if you don't ask, the chances are that you would not get, right? Ask and ask more, right? The more you ask, the chances are the higher you will get. So I think that's the champion's mindset that we've gone through, and yeah, I mean they get you to think bigger. The champions, the mindset is about dreaming, right? About dreaming big, about dreaming audacious, and think if you really have big goals, big ambitions, that's the way to live as an entrepreneur, right? This is an opportunity that we've got to be an entrepreneur. I can tell you this is an opportunity that we've got, right? And one must make the most of this opportunity that they have.
yeah, absolutely. And what would you say to entrepreneurs who still believe that they need to do everything themselves to prove it to themselves?
I would ask them a question: why are they trying to be Superman themselves, right? I mean, I don't think they have any, kryptonian powers if they're trying to do it themselves, right? It's too challenging. It's too difficult. It'll wear you down, So don't be the Superman. Don't be the superhero. And if you really want to do it, be a part of something like a trust group, which will give you the kryptonite powers that you need, right? Look at these people as those kryptonite powers coming with everything that they know, everything that they have, and making you feel more powerful. So, if you really want to be the superhero, use this concept and make
Mm,
it that way. Let's let's make entrepreneurship more enjoyable, because that's when we will really create value.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And how has this experience of being in a trust group and having a champion mindset shaped your success and resilience?
It's made acceptance of failure a lot more easier, right? I think sometimes we get bogged down when we fail, and you don't have anybody to share with. But when a trust group, for me, a trust group worked really well, because I had someone to go back and say, listen, I think I have, done errors, I've not succeeded. And they understand, right? They understand because they are going through something very similar to me. And they teach you how to accept failure. They teach you how to become better the next time. And I think that's what's worked well for me.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing this. Now, if people have been listening to this, we're going to go into the quick fire questions soon. But if people have been listening to this and they want to get in touch with you, or they want to connect with you, or they want to hear more about what you do in your business, as well as the trust group, how can they do so?
I'm very active on LinkedIn. I go by my name, Rashesh Doshi, and I'm very happy to connect with anybody who's listening to this and would like to explore how trust groups can function and help them. I'll be happy to give them all the templates that I have, and they could just copy, paste, and replicate. I'll be happy to even guide them in the first few meetings if they want to do that. I'm my website, that is talentcorner.in. That's my company website, has my mobile number and email ID. Anybody is free to reach out to that. Even if they just want to have a conversation, right, and get more of my experiences, I'll be happy to share over any of these contact information that I've shared.
Nice. We'll put those links into the show notes. I'll be definitely interested in working with you and collaborating and bringing this concept to New Zealand and actually do this as part of my business and as part of this podcast, really. I think there needs to be it's kind of given me some clarity around the audience for this podcast, which is entrepreneurs. So yeah, I'd like to build that trust group with
Sure.
that aligns with the champion mindset, because I think what we've covered today and the trust group aligns. So yeah, um, let's do some amazing things together. Right, we've got
Absolutely.
six quick fire questions. You can answer this in a short sentence or a single word. And the first
Sure.
question for you is, how do you define success, and has that definition changed for you over time?
In my view, one is successful when they have time to do what matters to them most, right? I think that's one thing that I have learned out of this. If you have time to do what matters to you most, I think you're successful.
Nice. Who's been your greatest inspiration and why?
Not for the political reasons, but Barack Obama is someone who really inspires me. I think he, as a leader, is really humble, and there's a lot to learn from him.
Nice. And what is something that you believe that others may disagree with?
That businesses is for creating money. I don't agree with that. Business is to create value and not money. Value will create the money.
Absolutely. Create an impact on this world and change people's lives. Yeah. If you could go back and give young Rashesh some advice, what would you say?
Focus on building a team. Rest, everything will
Mm,
fall into place.
nice. Love it. And two more. What is one message that you'd like to share with the world?
That there are no quick fixes and no quick wins. All the quick fixes and quick wins are a band aid. Everything else takes time. A quick fix and a quick win is a band aid. Everything else will take time.
Yeah, you've got to go through all the seasons
Yeah,
to get
absolutely.
there. Yeah. Your business matures over the seasons. Yeah. And lastly, and we've talked about the champion mindset, but lastly, what does it mean to you to be to have a champion mindset and to be, well, to you, sorry, what does it mean to you to be a champion and have a champion mindset?
Then don't compare yourself with others.
Hmm.
Try and compare what you were yesterday and are you better today. I think that's the most important learning that I can share that I've had.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Rashesh, thank you for being here with us today and sharing your powerful insights. What I love about your story is that it reminds us that leadership isn't just about doing it all by yourself. It's about showing up, staying consistent, and letting the right people walk beside you on that journey. And a very important man that I had on this podcast, who's a peak performance coach, David Neath, he said, like, there's always the behind every great man, or I said behind every great man is a great woman, and he said no, 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 beside every great man is a great woman, right? And I was like,
Very true.
but beside every business owner is a whole lot of other business owners that are going on the journey. And you know what, in 9 months of my business, I've now partnered with 4 different businesses, and I'm looking for more partners. So if you're out there and you're in the wanting to work in the AI space, then automation space, then get in touch with me. So to our listeners, remember that champions aren't built in isolation. They grow through connection, trust, and community. And if you'd like to connect with Rashesh, learn more about what Talent Corner does and the Ascent Foundation, check out the links in the show notes, and you'll be able to connect with Rashesh as well. If this conversation has resonated with you, share it with your friends, your family, your workmates, or a fellow entrepreneur who might just need that reminder today that they're not alone, that you're there with them, right? Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, keep cultivating that champion mindset. And lastly, I just want to say, you are loved, you are worthy, champion your life, champion your greatness, and have an amazing day.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, Rashesh.